You're browsing the internet buying totally normal stuff like books and clothes when your friend whispers about this mysterious website where you can buy literally anything. Drugs, weapons, fake IDs, stuff that would make your parents ground you until you're 40. It's called the Silk Road, and it promises complete anonymity and freedom from government snooping. Sounds like a digital Wild West, right? But was it actually a revolutionary free market paradise or just a high-tech drug cartel hiding behind fancy computer tricks? Today, I'll explain the Silk Road to you like you're 5 years old, and by the end, you'll understand how a nerdy libertarian accidentally created the internet's most notorious black market, and why it all came crashing down. It turns out, it wasn't actually about silk or roads. Shocker, I know. It wasn't some ancient trade route where camels carried spices across deserts, and it wasn't a legitimate marketplace where your mom could buy discounted electronics. What it was actually is a secret internet hiding place where people could buy and sell things that were totally illegal, all while pretending to be invisible ghosts on the computer. Imagine you have a super secret clubhouse that only special kids with magic invisibility cloaks can find. This isn't just any clubhouse. This is a special, super hidden clubhouse where kids can trade Pokemon cards that their parents said they absolutely cannot have. That secret clubhouse is what we call the dark web. Say it with me. Dark web. It sounds scary, doesn't it? Well, it kind of is scary, but also kind of like a digital fort with a no parents allowed sign. The dark web is a hidden part of the internet that regular people can't just stumble into by accident. You need special tools and secret passwords to get there. Now, this invisible internet clubhouse, also known as the dark web because you need special computer tools to see it, is like a secret neighborhood. Think of it like having a regular neighborhood where everyone can see all the houses, but then having a completely invisible neighborhood right next to it where all the houses are made out of see-through glass that only kids with special magic glasses can see. The regular internet is like the regular neighborhood. Anyone can drive down the street and see all the houses. But the dark web is like that invisible neighborhood. You need those special magic glasses, which in computer terms are called things like Tor browsers. So, someone had to build a house in this invisible neighborhood. Where did they build it? They built it in the most hidden corner of the dark web, where even the other invisible kids couldn't easily find it. The person who built this secret house was a guy who called himself Dread Pirate Roberts. That's not his real name, obviously. His real name was Ross, but he thought Dread Pirate Roberts sounded way cooler, like a character from a pirate movie. Ross was a really smart computer guy who had some big ideas about freedom and government and why people should be able to buy whatever they want without anyone telling them no. Now, let's talk about what made this secret house so special. Inside Ross's digital house, there were invisible shopping carts and invisible money. The invisible money had a really weird name: Bitcoin. And Bitcoin isn't like the dollars in your piggy bank or the quarters that you find in couch cushions. Bitcoin is like pretend money that lives inside computers, but somehow people decided it was worth real money. It's like if everyone agreed that Pokemon cards were actually worth the same as dollar bills, except instead of Pokemon cards, it's invisible computer numbers that are super hard to trace back to who owns them. And here's where the sneaky part comes in. Think about it like this. If you want to buy something at a regular store, you have to show your face, maybe show an ID, and when you pay with a credit card, there is a record of exactly what you bought and when you bought it. It's like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs that anyone can follow back to your house. But Ross's secret marketplace was designed so that no one could follow the breadcrumbs. The buyers were invisible, the sellers were invisible, and the money was invisible. It was like everyone was wearing invisibility cloaks and speaking in secret code. The same thing worked for the sellers on the Silk Road. When someone wanted to sell something illegal, they didn't have to meet sketchy people in dark alleys or worry about undercover police officers. They could just post pictures of their illegal stuff on Ross's website, like it was eBay for bad guys. They would ship their product through regular mail, but they would use fake names and fake return addresses. It was like playing the world's most dangerous game of Secret Santa, except instead of getting a nice sweater, you might get a bag of illegal drugs delivered to your door. This is why the Silk Road was different from regular drug dealing. Regular drug dealers have to meet their customers face to face. They might get caught by the police, or their customers might be undercover cops, or someone might see them and report them. It's risky and scary and involves a lot of looking over your shoulder. But the Silk Road, it made buying illegal drugs as easy as ordering pizza online. You could browse different products like you were shopping on Amazon, read customer reviews, compare prices, and never have to leave your bedroom. The invisible computer money in the secret internet hiding place made it feel safe and anonymous. Now, you might be wondering what kinds of things people were actually buying and selling on this invisible marketplace. And that's where things get really, really not okay for kids to know about. We're talking about drugs that can make people very sick or even die. We're talking about fake documents that people could use to lie about who they are. We're talking about weapons and other dangerous things that could hurt people. It wasn't just harmless stuff like bootleg movies or knockoff designer handbags. This was serious, dangerous, illegal stuff that could ruin lives and hurt families. Ross, our dread pirate Roberts, thought he was creating something revolutionary. He believed that people should have the freedom to buy and sell whatever they wanted without the government interfering. He thought he was like a digital Robin Hood, fighting against unfair laws and giving power back to the people. In his mind, he wasn't running a criminal enterprise. He was running a free market experiment. He genuinely believed that if people had complete freedom to make their own choices, even bad choices, the world would be a better place. It's like if someone thought that removing all the safety rules on a playground would make kids stronger and more independent. The idea sounds kind of logical, but in reality, kids would probably just get hurt. But here's the thing about the invisible computer money and secret internet hideouts. They're not actually as invisible as they might seem. Remember those breadcrumbs that we talked about? Even when you think you're being super sneaky, you're still leaving tiny breadcrumbs that really smart computer detectives can follow. It's like playing hide and seek in a house where you think you're completely hidden, but you didn't realize you're still casting a shadow that the person who's it can see. The FBI, which is like the police for really big important crimes, has some incredibly smart computer detectives who are really good at following invisible breadcrumbs. These FBI computer detectives spent months and months studying the Silk Road. They looked at the way the website was built. They even created fake accounts and pretended to be buyers and sellers, kind of like going undercover in the invisible neighborhood. Slowly, piece by piece, they started to figure out who was behind the dread Pirate Roberts mask. It's like solving a really complicated puzzle where most of the pieces are invisible, but if you're patient and smart enough, you can still see the picture. Meanwhile, Ross was getting more and more paranoid. Running a secret criminal marketplace is apparently very stressful. He started to worry what people were trying to steal from him, or that his employees were planning to betray him, or that the police were getting close. The stress of trying to stay invisible while running a multi-million-dollar illegal business was making him make worse and worse decisions. It was like when you tell one lie and then you have to tell more lies to cover up the first lie, and eventually you're just telling so many lies that you can't keep track of them all. The FBI's big break came when they found a tiny mistake that Ross had made years earlier, before he even became super careful about being invisible. It was like finding one loose thread on a sweater that, when you pull it, unravels the whole thing. They traced that one mistake back to his real identity, and suddenly Dread Pirate Roberts wasn't invisible anymore. He was just Ross, a regular guy who had gotten in way over his head. So, the FBI set up a trap. They waited until Ross went to a public library in San Francisco to do some Silk Road business on his laptop. And when he was sitting there, typing away and managing his secret criminal empire, FBI agents surrounded him. They arrested him right there in the library, with his laptop still open to the Silk Road admin panel. It was like catching the wizard behind the curtain in the middle of doing magic tricks. Suddenly, the all-powerful Dread Pirate Roberts was just a confused young man in handcuffs. Have you ever built a really elaborate house of cards, spending hours carefully balancing each one, only to have someone bump the table and watch the whole thing collapse in seconds? That is exactly what happened to the Silk Road when Ross got arrested. Without him running the show, the whole invisible marketplace fell apart almost instantly. Users couldn't log in, sellers couldn't ship products, and the invisible computer money that people had stored on the site was gone forever. Years of careful construction destroyed in a matter of hours. Now, you might wonder if these invisible marketplaces are still dangerous today. And are there other secret internet neighborhoods where bad guys are still selling illegal stuff? Unfortunately, yes, there are still places like the Silk Road hiding in the dark corners of the internet. It's like playing whack-a-mole. Every time the police shut down one secret marketplace, 2 more pop up somewhere else. But here's the important thing to remember. Just because something is possible doesn't mean it's smart or safe. Those invisible breadcrumbs are still there, and the computer detectives are getting better and better at following them. Ross, meanwhile, got sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. That means he'll spend the rest of his life in jail, never getting to leave, never getting to see his family except through prison glass, never getting to use a computer again. Some people think that that's a bit too harsh for someone who never personally sold drugs or hurt anyone directly, and other people think that it's exactly what he deserves for creating a platform that made it easier for dangerous criminals to hurt people. It's like the ultimate consequence for playing with fire. Eventually, you're gonna get burned, and sometimes the burn is worse than you ever imagined. So, Was the Silk Road a free market revolution or a digital drug cartel? Well, that depends on how you look at it. From Ross's perspective, he was creating a revolutionary platform that gave people freedom from government control. He genuinely believed that he was fighting for liberty and free markets. But from the perspective of law enforcement and the families hurt by the drugs sold on his platform, he was just a criminal who made it easier for other criminals to hurt people. It's like asking whether a really sharp knife is a useful tool or a dangerous weapon. The answer depends entirely on how you use it. The truth is probably somewhere in between. The Silk Road was definitely revolutionary in terms of technology and innovation. I mean, it showed just how powerful the combination of anonymity tools, cryptocurrency, and the dark web could be. But it was also definitely a criminal enterprise that caused real harm to real people. I mean, Ross wasn't a villain twirling his mustache, but he also wasn't a heroic freedom fighter. He was a smart, idealistic young man who created something that got completely out of his control. So, to recap for my 5-year-old brain trust, the Silk Road wasn't actually about silk or roads. It was a secret invisible marketplace where people used pretend computer money to buy illegal things while pretending to be ghosts, until the FBI followed the invisible breadcrumbs and caught the guy running it, and now he's in jail forever. So you totally get it now, right? Go forth and use the regular, visible internet responsibly, you law-abiding little digital citizen you.